So we're demystifying the hedge fund mirage from big data to big money, and we sought out to find out was how do hedge funds like George Soros' Quantum Fund or Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway in red dwarf the returns of the S&P 500. So we started with holdings data, including each hedge fund, the name of the stock they invested in, and how much they invested in that stock, and first graphed their sectors that those stocks belong to. And interesting saw some patterns. So here we can see that COA2A in this column tracks information technology pretty closely. So here in black, they invest a lot of their portfolio in IT, but don't follow its ups and downs, taking long-term bets. In the other hand, in consumer discretionary, we can see that in black, their share of their fund and consumer disc tracks the performance of the sector in red fairly closely, meaning it's a safer bet for them. Wellington here distributes their risk across sectors in their fund in black, a little bit in each sector, and Soros is the true outlier, being the only market-neutral firm aggressively using leverage, as you can see in these black spikes, to capitalize on short-term market opportunities in any sector. This is confirmed here in COA2A barely invests in any sector except for IT and consumer discretionary, and Soros' correlation is a small spread, meaning it doesn't track any one sector too closely. So we first ran these through different metrics like GDP and consumer pricing index to see if those perhaps correlated with fund performance, and found little correlation between things like change in shares and change in value of a fund and metrics like consumer pricing index and GDP, meaning they use different strategies than how the nation is performing. We then tried to run these through a cluster matrix and indeed saw few correlations there in almost any metric. We ran dimensionality reduction here to try to see if perhaps fewer dimensions could lead to more meaningful results, and still found lower test scores. Ultimately, we did a Bayesian analysis to predict next quarter's returns, and when the data comes out, we'll be able to see if we predicted correctly how the hedge funds will react.